What's going on, everybody? It's your boy. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, aka Chatty Bobby. Oh, I'm 40, and today I'm 40.
Oh, it just rolled right into it. I was gonna come with something, but man, there's not. My name is Tony, aka Friday the 14th.
I'm not going to show up the birthday boy today. I'm Hot Mike Chance.
And I'm back in the building. BJ the DJ.
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a while,
like
guys.
It's been like a month.
You don't realize how bad I've missed this. I was like, man.
First time in Studio Richardson.
This is.
What are your thoughts?
I love Studio Richardson.
Hill Studios.
Yeah, this is dope. I love this. Love the setup. It's great. It's awesome.
It's working out perfectly. I mean, can't ask for just the Hot Mike Chance, a.k.a. the director, just coming in clutch.
Yeah, man, and shout out to y'all.
Whatever we got to do.
Shout out to y'all for staying consistent with it. It's another wrestling episode. We've done the last few have been movie themed. Yep. We did the movies we're thankful for, and then we did VHS franchise.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So now we're back to some wrestling. This was slated to be in November.
Yep.
But just scheduling was kind of crazy, so we're doing it now, and it's Survivor Series.
Well, in all honesty, it actually worked out better with
It
Survivor
really did. It really did.
For Survivor Series being last weekend
and
having those huge moments that happened in that pay-per-view. I mean, we can discuss it. I mean,
no, for sure.
The return of CM Punk to the WWE.
Yep.
Completely
honestly,
unexpected.
I never thought that CM Punk would be back in the WWE again, but
you can never say never in wrestling.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, you're a huge CM Punk fan, correct?
NSN.
Yep. I like them more in the ring than outside the ring. But
I want to say this though, like 10 years ago, I was trying to put Chad and them on CM Punk, and they weren't listening. They didn't want to listen at all.
Yep.
I would like this guy. He's the next one. No, man, this dude's trash. And it didn't help that we were watching, I think, a Survivor Series match. And he was getting the piss beat out of him, but
like 2012 CM Punk, 2013. That's when he started to pop though a little bit. You were telling us about him. You were telling me and Brandon E about him in like 07, 08 when we had that spot in and that's when he first came on the scene.
Right.
And that's when we were like,
was that the long hair Punk?
Long hair Punk, ECW champion Punk.
That's when BJ was like champion and CM Punk back then.
Oh wow!
You pretty much.
And I was hating on him. I don't think Brandon hated on him as much. I was a CM Punk hater.
I think Brandon hooted him a lot though. I don't think I don't think he was a big fan of him. I think he was like Hutta, BJ, like Hutta.
Yeah, shout out Brandon E.
Shout out E.
But
it was a perfect scenario with it being in Chicago. It was only right, but we were discussing before we filmed. I kind of wish they would have done the surprise thing with Orton as well.
Yeah. Well, and if they hadn't given away Orton being there, they had a chance to get us twice with the surprise, right? Yeah. They could have just sat there like when they didn't play Orton's music. That was the perfect opportunity for everyone to start chanting CM Punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then Orton's music hits. Orton comes out, does his thing. Which I mean, let's talk about the RKO. Like that thing, he has come up with more innovative ways to do that RKO than anything.
Oh, dude.
He hits it from everywhere, and he hit the people that take it. I mean, shout out to them because
who was the cat from?
It was the cat from Judgment Day. I don't know who he is.
They threw him off the top of the cat,
and he caught him at the right moment.
I thought they were gonna. I thought he was about to climb, like scale up the cage and do it. I was thinking, don't do that. You just had back surgery. Please don't hurt
next
yourself
to that
again.
one. Next to that one, the one with Evan Bourne doing he caught him with that one. That's two of the dopest ones I've seen. And then you had Seth Rollins do the curb stomp, and he caught him in the air. But and then they had a chance to get us twice, and I wish they would have taken advantage of that, but they already spoiled it on SmackDown. But it is what it is. They're both back.
Yeah. I wish they would have done kind of like the Hulk Hogan NWO, like who's going to be the in this case I guess fourth man.
Yeah.
And then not had him, and then have CM Punk come out, and then have Randy Orton come out, just to kind of swerve people a little bit more. But I don't think Punk was gonna wrestle just yet.
No, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to think that you're gonna have CM Punk versus AJ Styles. You can get CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, which is what they're probably pushing.
That's what.
Now,
yeah.
So,
excited. But Orton looks phenomenal.
Jack.
Yeah. How
dude's yoked.
I'm so behind. Like I don't watch it.
You watched the pay-per-view, right? The whole pay-per-view.
No, just off and on. I was doing. I was at my family's house, so we were doing a lot of just hanging out, and I had it on my phone, just kind of watching it here and there.
The Gunther Miz match was good too.
Yep.
But that's once again we've talked about Miz numerous times.
Oh, he's the guy.
You could put Miz in the ring with him, and he's going to put him over.
Yeah, but he's close. Like, you got to think he's in that role now that Dolph Ziggler was in a couple years ago. Miz is real close to being wished well in his future endeavors, probably. But he'll go to AEW or New Japan and reinvent himself. He's got that attitude of the person you hate.
I've hated Miz from day one.
You hate him. So he plays a really good heel.
But that's he does his job.
Yeah, that's what he's supposed to do.
You're supposed to hate him, but you got to respect him because when they need somebody to hold the IC title, and there's nobody else to do it, he's there to
he even got a random WWE title run a couple years ago, like out of nowhere for a few months.
So how long has Orton been gone?
A year and a half.
Yeah,
500 something days.
Did he get hurt or something?
Messed up his back.
Yeah, had back surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't even know. I mean,
I didn't realize he'd been gone that long.
I didn't either.
Yep.
And then Raw was, of course, here in Nashville Monday night.
Yep.
And one of my buddies was there, and he said, of course, Punk and Orton was there, but he said that the pop for Orton was bigger than Punk was.
Oh, yeah.
And everything.
Yeah,
Which surprised me.
Yeah,
but
shout out
once again, it come back to Survivor Series being in Chicago. That's the hometown crowd for. That's where Punk's gotten his biggest pops from.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the way they brought him in right at the very end, the logo had come up on the corner. Yep. You thought the show was over, and then they hit it.
And
perfect timing.
That's mainly what I was watching for, just waiting to the end to see if he came out. And then when I seen that logo, I was like, well,
yep, he's done.
Yep,
yeah.
I don't think he's coming.
They did a good job of bringing him back.
The clip that I saw was Seth Rollins being super mad. Obviously, that was a work.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter, people were acting like he was really mad. Bro, do y'all not watch wrestling?
Do you think Michael Cole could actually hold back?
Seth Rollins back?
That gave it away. That should have had someone, at least Corey
And
Graves.
then the God chick in the background was like laughing.
Yeah.
And we're in another PG era of WWE.
Right.
And he's dropping F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb right there. And it's like...
There was a couple things that they talked about. They talked about Drew McIntyre stormed off.
Yeah.
But that was I saw the clip of that. That was before CM Punk's music even hit and everything.
I don't know what was going on there.
Something's going on there.
But yeah, the Rollins thing is a work. Rollins had mentioned something about CM Punk being a cancer and he don't want him in WWE. And
I don't blame him for
they've been carrying the flag. Yeah, I mean, with what happened at AEW, it's I wonder how long it's going to last before the.
And I think that's why he got the response that he got in Nashville because people just aren't sure yet on who you're going to get.
I mean, dog, you was there for a year at AEW and then you disappear for 6 months and then you come back and you're there for 2 months and you're gone again. So
well, that Rollins was, and I think we're about to see Rollins make that heel turn again. Yeah, because he was in his promo Monday night, he was eating up the whole chant CM Punk at me, all that. So that's probably going to be a WrestleMania match right there.
I would assume that's probably going to main event one, and who knows what they're going to do with Reigns.
Yeah, because we got the Royal Rumble coming up.
And he's not going to be there either. Reigns isn't.
Yeah.
So who knows? I'm about tired of looking at him. Not looking at him.
We're here at Survivor Series.
Let's go.
Yeah, Survivor Series, dude. Oh, before we finish, though.
Yes.
Salute to Jelly for popping up on Monday Night Raw.
That too, man. And having a huge spot right there with R-Truth. That little segment.
Here's what we need now.
I wish you would have broke Dominic Mysterio's neck.
Yeah, he about did.
Well,
he pushed the fire out of him.
I can't stand.
And what about Orton's reaction after giving?
Here's
good.
Jelly. Here's what we need now. We need WrestleMania in Nashville.
Yes.
We need you in a celebrity battle royal.
Yes.
Therefore, then you've done a theme song. You've appeared on Raw. Mm-hmm. We get a SmackDown appearance out of you, maybe another pay-per-view appearance, and then you're in the WWE Hall of Fame. So we need that.
Jelly in the WWE Hall of Fame.
We need Jelly in the WWE Hall of Fame. ASAP.
Yes.
Speak it into existence.
And let it be the WrestleMania that comes here to Nashville.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we get a press pass to shoot live from the Hall of Fame.
Boom.
That's what we need.
That's all. You know what I mean?
Make it happen.
That's all we want to happen, guys.
Make it happen.
Here's a little fun fact for you.
Give it to me.
That's not the first time I saw Jelly Roll involved in a wrestling angle.
Really?
Yep. He in Nashville, Tennessee. He almost laid the smackdown on Finley. Yep.
Really?
At Crossfire at the
NWA Crossfire.
Yep.
Really?
At the fairgrounds. Yep.
Now here's another thing.
Probably 2012, 13.
If you can find the card from that. See if R-Truth was on that card as well, because he used to wrestle for NWA.
Yeah, he was the NWA.
So how cool would it be if R-Truth was at that event and also just did something with him on Raw? That'd be cool.
Shout out Jelly.
Shout out Jelly.
Shout out R-Truth and Jelly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Survivor Series started in what, 88, 87? I think 87 was the first Survivor Series. I want to say.
Yep.
There's not any takeaways for me from the first couple.
No, they're very stale.
I didn't like I get the idea, the concept of the Survivor Series matches, but there was really no storyline to it. You're just watching a whole bunch of people wrestle. You get the main event guys at the end. And if you notice, though, one thing I did notice about the Survivor Series matches, if you wanted to know who was popular or who was popping at the time, those are the guys that ended up winning at the end. If you go through and look at the people, whether they're heel or face, those are the ones who were the heavy stars that they were pushing,
we're
right?
Be the survivors,
yeah, those were the guys. So, and that's the only takeaway I had from the first few as well.
When did they start doing they stopped doing the thing where there was like the survivors match at the end? That didn't last a hell of a long time, did it?
I want to say 90 or 91.
I was going to say it's only like the first 4 or 5.
Yeah. Because then you started getting more matches and less survivor matches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah,
and then I got away from that vibe totally, and it was just another pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long watch too. Yeah. Like, you're watching 4 matches that take forever.
Yeah.
A
lot of chokeholds and stale moves and
Yep.
Very slow paced.
The first one was in 1987 at Hartford, Connecticut Civic Center in Hartford. So
it was probably Dino Bravo or Greg Hammer Valentine.
Pandemonium in the convention center.
Woo! Do you want me to give you a couple of facts real quick?
Go ahead and give them to us.
All right. Survivor Series has been held in 24 cities in the United States and Canada.
Okay. Wow.
The longest Survivor Series elimination tag team match lasted 49 minutes and 19 seconds.
It was a podcast. It lasted as long as a podcast.
And it was in 2005, Team Raw versus SmackDown.
Holy cow!
Well, I mean, at least in 2005, it may have been a little bit better to watch.
49 minutes.
49.
That is insane.
I don't know who was in that match.
We've watched matches that long before. We've watched Iron Man matches with Brett and
but
Shawn.
That's different though. Like I could watch that.
You probably had a bunch of nobodies for. Well, they were probably like the top 5 guys.
I
mean, Sting and Flair at the Clash was 40-something minutes too. But I mean, it's just. I couldn't do that.
Woo. Y'all want to take a guess on who holds the record for the most appearances
in a Survivor Series?
At Survivor
Series.
Kurt Hennig,
John Cena,
Undertaker.
Yeah, that's
18 matches.
Speaking of that,
it's a good way to go into.
That's really kind of the first big moment I remember from Survivor Series.
I don't think we realized how big that moment was, though.
No, not at that time. No. Looking back at it
what
now.
What is Brother Love doing with this tall, like, dude in all black? Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? And just looking evil as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, great character, great debut. I miss there's things that they talk about now that I missed then. I miss them calling him Kane the Undertaker. I don't remember that moment at all.
I don't either.
And I remember the long walk to the ring, and I was just like, man, he's taking him forever. But I always remembered them shooting to the crowd and looking at the fear on the kids' faces when he walked down the aisle.
It would always be kids.
Yeah. They were scared of. I mean,
that was 90, right? 1990.
Yeah. And then I remember, like, we've spoke about this briefly. I think about Brother Love was originally going to be the manager of Undertaker, and then Vince basically, the way Bruce talked about it, Bruce Pritchard said. He kind of gave him the option. Do you want to go out on the road and do the on-the-road thing day in, day out, or do you want to stay here and do talent stuff? I think that's what happened with that. And then they ended up getting Percy Pringle, R.I.P., Paul Bearer, which
fit so well with that character.
He was so much scarier than The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. That voice.
When he had mannerisms. When he had the white makeup and the black facial hair and the black hair, like... And that neck. Paul Bearer was terrifying.
Great character.
That turkey gobbler.
It would just
fit right in with Survivor Series. Around Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was absolutely perfect. Because the Brother Love character, it didn't fit with.
It totally worked out for both of them.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was when was that when it was like $1 Million Man? It was his guest, special.
His surprise.
Yeah. And then, of course, he went on to be the greatest. I mean, you can argue that Undertaker's the greatest wrestler of all time.
Greatest character.
The most decorated, greatest character, most decorated, most successful. Like, I mean,
he didn't need the title to be relevant. That's the thing with him. You look at his reigns, he probably had like 6 or 7, but
he's
one of
top
the
three most. I would say top 3 most popular. You could say 5. You'd probably say, Hogan, Stone Cold, Rock, Taker, and Flair.
I think there's a lot of people that will put him over Rock.
Yeah.
They would put him over Rock. Probably put him next to Hogan and Flair.
I just watched Last Ride again.
That's amazing documentary.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's the one we've been waiting on for a long time. I need to watch that new
Flair one that's on Peacock. There's a new Flair one.
Yeah, that's really good too.
Yeah, I watched it. But yeah, that was 1990. I remember that was a moment, and then the following year there was some stuff too. Didn't Taker fight Hogan or something?
Taker won his first WWF title. Here's what I watched that, and here's what I noticed: like how old Hogan looked. And if you think about it, when was it that Flair came in?
Well, now was that after the
Flair came in right here at this time.
So go back and watch that again, and look how youthful and jacked and ripped Flair looked during his WWE tenure, and how old and deflated and just miserable
was
Hogan
around
looked.
Was that the
steroid?
Steroid.
Yeah, so he looked
absolutely
miserable, like he looked so old, and I was thinking, I hate this is reason number 17. I hate Hulk Hogan. The no sell that he did for the Undertaker was just ridiculous, and then he hits he no sells the worst tombstone ever. Then he starts complaining about his neck, saying that Taker hurt him with the chair. Number 17. The reason I hate Hulk Hogan is this match right here. It is the worst Hogan match I ever saw in my life, and I don't think Taker held the belt long after that.
No.
See, it's just,
I remember there being something else surrounding this Survivor Series, and it was something in Texas in '91, and I could have swore it was
Tuesday
Hogan.
in Texas.
It was Tuesday because that's when Taker dropped the belt again.
It was Hogan again.
Yeah.
So he held it 2 days?
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's
There's classic Hogan.
Reason number 18
doesn't work for me, brother.
Reason number 18. I hate Hulk Hogan.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
I need that. I'm going to need that back.
Yeah, he was talking about how you hurt my neck, brother, and he was nowhere near the chair on the tombstone.
It's so great, dude.
Out, man. Kick rocks, dog.
Skinny Hogan was not a good look.
It was terrible. He looked old, man. And Flair comes in like yoked. Flair comes in, he's jacked up, and I mean he looks probably the best he's ever been in his life.
Because he was wanting to shove it up WCW's ass. He was wanting to prove it that there's a reason why I left y'all and y'all weren't treating me good.
And you know what would have happened though I'm glad it didn't happen in WWF because Flair and Hogan would have wrestled each other at WrestleMania, and Hogan would have went over.
Oh yeah, he would have went over.
I didn't want to see that. Yeah. Not at that point.
Because we learned that later on down the line in WCW that Hogan always went over on Flair.
Another thing during that '91 Survivor Series, there was just a random tag team match with Flair and Razor, and Macho and Mr. Perfect. And like everyone was really into that match. That's one thing I noticed is how there wasn't a dull moment during that match at all.
Right at the beginning of Razor.
Yeah, I forgot Razor was there at 91. Well, it was the end of 91.
Well, see, Razor was playing the heel. Him and Flair were the heels.
Yeah,
and you had Perfect and Macho as the faces, which was random, right? But there was not a dull moment. You know, with Randy Savage, it was always pandemonium.
Yeah, and then you have the Worker and Perfect and Flair in that match,
right? And I said, Flair looked to be like in the best shape of his life during that match.
Well, and you put him and Hennig and Perfect in the ring together, you're going to get a fucking show.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's two of the best technical wrestlers ever to strap it on. Going against each other.
That's one of those matches, if we watch today, would probably steal the show, like in their prime, right?
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. I totally forgot about that one.
What year was it when they had all of the Hart family as like a team? Was that
I think it was 93, 94.
Yeah. I remember that one being like so random.
94 was the Brett versus Owen match, wasn't it?
So it wasn't that one. It would have had to have been 93 then.
Well, so 94 was building up Brett and Owen, I think. You know what I got tired of looking at? I got tired of looking at Stu Hart. Like they brought him to a lot of pay-per-views, and he always had the same puzzled look on his face.
Did they try to talk to him? He'd start talking, and they just cut away. I'm like, why y'all even interviewing him? He's trying to talk. And they, you guys, my guys,
hey.
And they're just like, all right, Stu Hart, everybody. I'm like, what did he say?
Come on to the dungeon.
Number 4, 94 was Bob Backlund versus Bret Hart for the title. Okay.
I absolutely despised every bit of Bob Backlund.
I know. Why was he WWF champion during this time?
He lost it. Ain't that when did he lose it to Diesel right after that?
In 8 seconds.
So here's what happened.
at a house show at Madison Square Garden.
Hated the Bob Backlund.
So the Bob Backlund Bret Hart match was a throw in the towel match. Only way to win was for the valet to throw in the towel. And Arnold Skolin threw in the towel. So this was similar to what Arnold Skolin did with Sheik, right? So, so it was mainly focused on building up Brett and Owen. Owen was in Backlund's corner, and convinced Stu and Sue Hart to throw in the towel. That's what it was. So they were ringside, and Owen convinced Sue Hart to throw in the towel.
That's where WWF was at in '94.
Yes. Yeah.
Bob Backlund was the main event. He was in the main.
And
he was 80 years old.
Dropped it 3 days later to Diesel. Makes me think that Bret Hart didn't want to do the job to Diesel.
Yeah.
So
probably
because Diesel
but
was
he did it to.
Stop. Yeah. He's to Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund held the title for a long time.
Yeah,
back
in the
day.
70s or something.
Was it like 10 years? He held it for like 10 years.
In '94.
That's when Bruno Sammartino was holding the belt for.
We think Roman Reigns is bad. Bruno Sammartino, but at least he defended the belt.
Yeah,
I think '94 was also the year. Was that the year of Mabel being the title, being the King of the Ring?
King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, but that made
'94 was a bad year for.
It was rough. It was rough.
Because nobody really cared about Diesel being the world champ at that point.
Oh no, he was. Yeah, he couldn't work.
No, he was very limited. He was better as being Shawn Michaels' bodyguard.
Dude, yeah, Diesel. Okay, I get it. I get that.
I know you're a huge Kevin Nash
fan.
fan.
But he's not the greast work. But I just love Kevin Nash.
Oh,
I mean, he earned money.
Now,
to me,
Kevin Nash
version of Kevin Nash was WCW.
Yeah, Kevin Nash and WCW, I like a whole lot more than Diesel and WWF.
I definitely co-sign that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to say. I love Kevin Nash.
I liked old Kevin Nash when he was all them shitty gimmicks. I thought he was a badass then.
One of the best power bombs ever.
Yeah,
the jackknife power bombs.
I'll give him his props. I'll give him his respect. But WCW Kevin Nash was far better than Diesel.
Yeah,
and he's by far the best person to watch with them shoot interviews.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah,
he's got
do y'all watch his podcast with him and Sean Oliver?
I need to.
It's called Click This, spelled like KLIQ, like whatever. Dude, it's so dope. I missed.
Well, he's just real. He don't care what anybody thinks. He's just going to tell you what he's feeling. He's going to tell you what. And tell you everything that happened.
I just never understood.
He's a behemoth of a human being.
Yeah, he's
when
as tall as this entire garage.
Blue Limit shoulders.
There was a time where he came back recently. I mean, I think he started a feud with CM Punk. I don't know why they brought him back as Diesel. Why didn't they just bring him back as Kevin Nash?
Yeah,
because Vince owns Diesel.
He's an
idiot. Doesn't own Kevin
I'm glad
Nash.
I hope he's out.
That's when he dyed his hair like jet black.
Yes.
And everything. That's when the CM Punk had.
We don't want that.
He almost like the click about his knees and everything. That promo with Triple H.
Like Kevin Nash ain't been in TNA for the last 10 years, gray headed. Like, come on, dude.
What year was it where the infamous Rocky Maivia debut, and you hear Raw saying, "That's him, that's the blue chipper"?
That was 95.
It was not 96. It was 95.
Yeah, 95.
Okay. Well, that's
the blue chipper.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, that's a classic.
How crazy was that though? Like his first match, like that's the first time he got in a WWE ring. Like was the pay per view.
Survivor, one of the big ones.
Yeah. There's been some really good debuts.
And that gimmick was, how long was he Rocky Maivia with that really weird vest?
Oh, it was for about a good year.
Wow.
So
I think
that's when he turned into Nation Domination Rock.
Yeah,
that's when everything.
And he got hurt when he came back. He turned into Rocky Maivia. He turned into The Rock. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Came back wearing the loafers with the shorts, the little pleated shorts with the little polo shirt.
Because Farouk was the lead. He took over because you had that whole build up where he took over the leadership of the nation from Farouk, and all that kind of stuff. Which was a great build up for all that.
Definitely.
I mean, Nation of Domination was classic. Dude.
You had them DX, the stables at that time which is going to be a future episode coming up probably next week.
Yeah,
factions and everything,
stables,
which we'll get into those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Nation.
They didn't have the best in-ring wrestling during the Attitude Era, but it was the most entertaining.
Oh,
it's not even ever going to match that, bro.
It's got to be one of the best factions of all time, though, if you think about it, because everyone that left there, they may not have become world champion, but they all played a significant role. And I mean, D'Lo, Godfather, of course, like all of them went on to be great characters. And
Mark Henry
was a world champion. So yeah,
is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
I think he's
gonna be if he's in there.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
D'Lo is one of the greatest European champions of all time.
He put that belt on the map.
I hate how everything shook out with D'Lo because I love D'Lo Brown. Bro. I thought he was such a good worker, and that the whole the unfortunate thing with dry eyes and him getting paralyzed, and it wasn't either one of their faults. It was just one of those things where.
A freak thing.
You try to move 100 times, 99 times, it's fine. And that one time, and I'm sure that's just something horrible to have to carry around. I know on Dark Side of the Ring he spoke on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean,
and RP Dries, I mean, he lived to be I think 54.
Yeah,
I mean, he lived.
And he'd been paralyzed for what 20 plus years.
Because 98, 97. I mean,
But
97, what else we have going on in 97? It seemed to be that was a good because that was the whole Shawn and Brett feud.
Yeah,
that's the whole. Well, that's the screw job.
That's the screw job.
Yeah, it's 97. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we got to do an episode on freaking screw job.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
that's the biggest work in WWE history. I don't care what anybody says. Biggest work. The whole thing's a work, and they've been working this thing for years.
It's still going.
Still
going.
Yeah.
I'll say this,
or was it?
I'll say this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tune in.
I've
and find
watched
out.
every piece of footage. I've watched every documentary. I've listened to every podcast dealing with the screw job, and with everything that I've obtained from everybody's
that's good word usage.
Like they're like recalling of the event. I think that shit was a work.
Well,
listening to Scott Hall break it down.
I've got some notes here. Like I did extensive research for this particular match.
Oh man!
And so I've got some very in-depth notes. So first of all, you had the screwy finish at WrestleMania, where they had to restart the match, right?
WrestleMania 13.
Yep. Then you had the promo from Vince at the very beginning of Survivor Series where he asked, "Who's going to win this match?" And he smirks and says, "I don't know." There's that.
Mm-hmm.
You got the long intros from the back of the ring, right? Shawn was getting way too much heat. Brett had been working the "I got screwed" angle since WrestleMania. If the fix was in, why was Vince at ringside? You know what I mean? Like, why was he there?
Yeah.
They used this to enhance the Mr. McMahon character because Brett had already exposed him as the owner, blaming him for his shortcomings. Yep. Brett already mentioned if he lost it, that would be his last match in WWE prior to that even happening, right?
Yeah.
They let way too much go on. Brett was punching the refs. They wrestled all the way up the tunnel for about 10 minutes before the match even officially started. So they had the perfect opportunity to do a double DQ and for him to drop the belt on Raw, right? They didn't do any of that. And the very next night, Jim Ross is talking about the controversy. So for me, I feel like it was a work from the jump.
Yep.
No, for sure.
Well, and it's a way for Bret Hart to play the victim, to go to WCW, to get sympathy and come in as a babyface. That's what I think.
Well, that and the whole fact that he spits in the face of Vince McMahon.
That's the thing.
And does nothing about it. I mean, you're letting a man.
Oh, he got his lights punched out in the back, apparently.
Dude, so that's the thing that Scott Hall says that always sticks out to me about it being a work. He said Vince is a meticulous person about TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said, why, if it was not a work and he really got spit on, why would he tell him to keep it on him?
Keep it on him.
Why would he not tell him to cut to another camera?
Yeah.
And he even spelled out the competitor's initials in the camera.
Like that the whole thing about, I don't know. I mean, but then you see people like Earl Hebner talking about it and crying 30 years later, and it's like, are they really keeping this work up that long? What is it benefiting by keeping it up?
Yeah.
But I guess because
he could have not been. He might have not been in on it. He could have just been.
But Brett made him feel horrible about it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
could be working it.
So there's just
the refs always know. That's the thing. The refs always know.
Yeah, the ref is always.
So is you saying Earl Hebner's in on? Like, it's crazy to think about, but it's a conspiracy theory, I guess. But I look forward to diving into.
I need to watch Wrestling with Shadows again and everything too. Prior to that,
we got that too.
Release too.
Yeah.
Filming a documentary.
Man, there's just so much there that just lets me know that they have worked this thing for
another right there. They filmed a documentary around the whole
and think about this.
The whole thing.
Here we are. They did a Dark Side of the Ring about it, and then they're still talking about it to this day. If it's that big, if Vince wanted that to go away, it would have went away.
Yeah,
it would have went away. You wouldn't hear anything about it.
Benoit,
for instance,
he
would have went away. But they continuously talk about it, and they continuously they're beating that dead horse, right?
Making money.
Making money.
Do you think
milking it?
Do you think that the whole deal about Vince getting punched out? Do you think all that was real?
I think it was staged as
well. Do you think that?
Yeah,
because there's no footage of it.
Yeah, there's no footage.
There's a recalling of it by Bruce Pritchard who saw it.
Yeah,
and Bret Hart who did it.
Yeah,
and but there's the whole thing. There's the Dark Side of the Ring about it. There's the Wrestling with Shadows.
Yep.
There's the podcast, Bruce Pritchard telling his side of it.
Yep.
Then there's the whole WWE released a Blu-ray back in the day. It was like Brett versus Shawn.
Yes, yeah.
There's that one.
Yeah.
That builds up to it, that talks about it. So it's definitely polarizing.
I don't think Jim Cornette thinks it's a work, but Jim Cornette gave him 10 or 12 different scenarios where this could play out and he could drop the belt.
Yeah.
And they didn't go for any of
them. Yeah, and that's what Bruce said too. Yeah. Like he wanted to what they said Brett wanted to do was lose it go like a no, or he didn't want to lose it on Survivor Series. He would drop it the next night
on Raw
in Ottawa or something, because then wasn't they in Toronto?
Yeah, I think
that's why he said he didn't want to lose it. Am I right there?
He didn't want to lose at home.
He didn't want to lose it. It's like, again,
like I said,
Bruce Pritchard has a great take on this. He was like, it's not, nobody really wins these. They're giving it to you. Like, you're not really winning it. If you're really winning it, Brock Lesnar would win it. Would
never lose the
belt. Nobody can whoop Brock Lesnar in real life. In the WWE, I'm pretty sure, for the belt. I mean, so it's like, but we don't need. I just want to harp on it too long. But like, we definitely, if y'all want us to do an episode on the Montreal Screwjob, I'm
write it down in comments, because we're gonna do it regardless, anyways.
We're gonna for sure. Like that would be. Just doing, like, I think that'd be cool too for an episode topic, like taking a big moment like that and just doing an episode around it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's several.
Well, you could do that whole Monday Night
King of the Ring '98.
Yeah, the whole Monday Night Raw episode where WCW was purchased by Vince McMahon.
The Mankind Taker thing when Mankind gets thrown off.
Do you think this is the most? Do you think this is the most recognizable WWE match of all time? Like,
I think the King of the Ring one's probably more popular. When Mankind got thrown off the top.
So so that was when I was thinking about this. I say that one. I think if you think about the history of WWE,
Hogan and Rock. I know you hate him.
Hogan and Rock.
That first time
Andre.
Michaels.
I don't hate that
Hogan
match.
Andre.
Hogan and Andre. Hogan
that first title win by Shawn Michaels in
Texas.
Yeah,
I think it'd probably be between Hogan and Andre.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to.
Montreal Screwjob and the Mankind.
The Mankind. That's kind of where I was when I was watching this. I was like, the fact that they continue talking about this makes me think this is the most recognizable WWE match of all time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much controversy surrounding it. So.
And it's like, it just, that huge flub up, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Turned into creating the greatest heel character of all time. Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Also,
like,
in that same Survivor Series, you had the Austin versus Owen rematch after Austin broke his neck.
Yeah.
And the match was short. He beat the piss out of Owen Hart. And then right after that, he catches fire. Because for me, the match wasn't about having a great match. It was about Austin getting revenge on Owen Hart for breaking his neck. Yeah. So he goes in and literally just beats the tar out of him. And then next thing you know, he's off to the moon. Yep. And he's the biggest star in the company,
which is another episode too. Is just
Austin's,
and then you talk about an extensive episode. That'd be a big episode, because you're talking about an entire career spanning it. We haven't done those yet.
No,
we've done like filmographies from actors and stuff, but like
picking a wrestler out and going through his career.
Maybe we'd have to condense it, of course, but if we just stuck it to just the Stone Cold run, not anything previous.
I mean, but to me, he had a great run as Stunning Steve, but Stunning Steve was never going to be a world champion.
No.
Stone Cold's a world champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
one of the goats.
And then the next year, you had the debut of Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle showed up at 98. Against
the Prodigy.
Meat pre-meat. Was this before?
But that was also Kurt Angle's first time in a WWE ring.
Which is wild.
Wild to think.
He had an interesting go of it in ECW when he went, and they were crucifying somebody. And he was like, "I'm out of here.
See ya.
Where's
Big that goals. Where you at, Vince? Let me sign. Where's that private jet at?"
It was 96, I think, when he.
And you know what's sad?
Was it Sandman? I think it was Sandman that they crucified.
Yeah, definitely.
Was it Sandman that they?
It may have been.
Was it Raven and Stevie Richards that did it?
I think so.
You're the ECW guy.
I don't remember.
I think that was.
I'm pretty sure it was Stevie Richards and Sandman. It was all them.
Can you imagine Angle's character in ECW at that time? I don't think it would have went over well.
No.
He had a chance when ECW revamped. I think the plan was to put the title on him, and then he had his drug run, and he took off to TNA. But I think the plan was for him to take over that ECW title at that point, which it would have been great because his character was defined at that point.
Yeah. And you've said numerous times his run in TNA is just
unbelievable.
What I always found crazy about that though is
sure.
it wasn't
for sure.
It wasn't very much. I think it was not too long after that they crucified Austin on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, with the
96,
Kurt was getting that money by then.
He was like,
he was getting that money.
$250,000 a year versus $1 million.
Doing it in the bingo hall.
Yeah,
watching the crucified bingo hall.
Madison Square Garden a little bit different than the bingo hall.
But no, you're right though.
Yep.
And I want to say too, this year they did some kind of referencing to the year prior, and then I know Mankind was part of the corporation. That's when all that was a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
when they were trying to screw the Rock?
98, yeah, 98. So that was the height of the Rock's face run, and Mankind was part of the corporation. They actually screwed him out of the belt. Actually, it was they were trying to screw Mankind or the Rock out of the belt, but they did the swerve on Mankind, and Rock became champion.
And was that the Beyond the Mat match?
Where they was wearing him out with the chair?
Yeah, where in front of the kid. No.
That was a match he had with Triple H, and it was like a Hell in a Cell or something. It was like the year after.
I don't remember when that.
He got hit with all them chair shots.
It was against the Rock in the Beyond.
Oh, the Rock, yeah.
And so Beyond the Mat.
So let's backtrack back to the screw job, because in this match with Rock and Mankind, of course the McMahons are surrounding the ring, and so the announce team keeps referencing the screw job because you're expecting something to happen, right? And this is when you got the Rock's heel turn. They turned on Mankind, and then Rock becomes part of the corporation. So,
because it was like they played a recording of him saying "I quit" or something.
No, that was during the Super Bowl. That was a Super Bowl halftime show, wasn't it?
No, the recording was in that Beyond the Mat match where he got hit in front of his kids and everything.
That was
was that a SummerSlam match?
I can't
Did we
remember
talk about that. SummerSlam?
But
I know it was 2000.
Those chair shots right in front of his kids and everything. Noel Foley sitting there crying.
1999 Royal Rumble.
Okay, that's it. Okay, yeah, that's it. Where he hit him with so many chairs, and he had his hands tied behind his back and everything.
This says that The Rock defeated Mankind by submission at this paper
I think they tried to reenact that screw job.
Yep.
Because they were saying that was part of it.
Yeah, they screwed Mankind out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then 2000, you got something written down for 2000.
I got Taker and Angle for the WWE title. This was the American Badass Taker.
Yes, I love that little transition.
Yeah, I think this version of Taker matched well with Angle.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine the slow moving Undertaker with Kurt Angle and him being a machine.
Yeah,
but this one went well. The finish to this one was cool because Eric Angle was actually hiding under the ring, and when Kurt went under the ring, Taker pulled him out, but it was actually Eric Angle, so he went to pin him. And, of course, the referee realized that's not Kurt.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And then Kurt comes in and beats Taker for that. Like, he hit him with the angle with the Olympic Slam. So.
And I'm pretty sure it wasn't the next year, maybe the year after. Is that when they did the Elimination Chamber thing?
2002 was the Elimination Chamber.
And was that first Elimination Chamber? That's not the one with Goldberg. That was the year after.
2000. No, I think Goldberg was in the first chamber, wasn't he?
I just remember they ganged up on him and beat the hell out of him.
That was when that was when Evolution. That was
that was 03,
that was SummerSlam.
Was it
SummerSlam?
Yeah,
SummerSlam 03. Yeah, Elimination Chamber was 2002. It debuted where Shawn wins the world title after his sabbatical. He came back.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, because Shawn wrestled in SummerSlam 2002. That was like his comeback match against Triple H. He was wrestling in blue jeans.
Yes,
and that was the comeback.
The tank top.
He was gone from '98 when he got hurt in the Rumble match in '98 with Taker.
He had the G Unit tank top on.
Yeah, he definitely did. And then that's right. And then he won the Elimination Chamber in 2002, and he had like the little short bob cut.
Yeah, the
soccer mom haircut,
brown pants.
Yeah, dude. I remember that shit, bro. I think that's when wrestling, bro. That's when it started jumping back, dude. Because that's after the WCW. Those people that were holding out, they were starting to kind of trickle in at the end of 2002, 2003.
Yeah,
I still think 2003 WWF is some of the best WWF ever had.
They had one of the best Survivor Series matches of all time.
Right there in 2003.
Yeah. Team Austin, Team Bischoff. Team Austin was Shawn. You had the Dudleys, RVD, and Booker T. Team Bischoff, you had Christian, Mark Henry, Jericho, Randy Orton, and Scott Steiner. And I'm telling you, the person, he's one of the best workers. RVD looked amazing.
He's a beast, bro.
And then you got young, coming right into it, Orton right there.
Yeah,
and everything.
The cool thing about
that year was insane, bro. Because that's when Lesnar, Batista, Orton,
all those guys were there,
and Cena
was there
at the same time.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this particular match was it came down to Shawn being the one responsible for Austin keeping his job. So Shawn was the sole survivor. Of course, he loses. Austin gets fired, but he comes back. And I thought that was a pretty cool little twist on that match there.
Yeah, no, 03 is just such a fire year. I think 03 WWF and 05 TNA are like some of the best wrestling that I remember watching.
Storylines, everything, everything.
Talent, storylines, matches.
The pay-per-views
like
matter.
OMG moments. Like they just had 03 because 03's the Rumble in 03 was great.
Yep.
WrestleMania 19 is in my top 3 favorite WrestleManias.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
it was a huge youth movement across all companies. TNA, the X Division was thriving. AJ Styles was getting his name. To me, the X Division was like one of the coolest concepts. The title was cool. When they had the strings across the ring, all of it was so cool. So it was a lot of youthful wrestlers in the X Division, but WWE was going through the same thing.
Yeah,
they were bringing all the guys in from OVW.
Yeah,
my favorite,
and it was thriving.
I honestly can say my probably top 5 favorite moments in WWE history is when Brock Lesnar, I think it's 02-03, when he hits the Hardy Boys with them chairs.
Oh God!
Or they hit him with them chairs in the head. And he just eats them, bro, and starts going like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, that's the most crazy. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen, bro.
Yeah,
it's one of the craziest things I've seen in
those
wrestling.
chair shots that Jeff takes in that.
Dude, because that's when they were swinging for the fences, bro. And
he knocks his brain into 2 centuries ahead of him.
It's insane to think that was just normal stuff back then. You look at it now, 20 years later. Think about the brain injuries these guys have.
Have you ever heard the Taker and Randy Orton story about when Orton hit Taker with the chair shot and missed his head and hit him down the face and cut the lip of the chair, cut like down his forehead and everything? And Taker just looked at him and goes, "You got one coming to you." And then they had that Hell in a Cell match, and that's where Taker busted,
got his receipt,
receipts on him, and just was swinging for the downs on Orton.
Yeah, dude.
He busted him open. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And that was all receipts.
Yeah.
After the 03 like Survivor Series, I feel like there was kind of, I liked 05. 05 is another solid year in WWF. I just think TNA's in 2005 was so
2005 to me, 2005 to about 2008, TNA was running it.
Yeah, because I never really got into 06, 07 because that was the Great Khali era.
Yep.
Yeah. 07.
Yep.
And it was Khali and Cena at every pay-per-view.
And they had Batista chasing the belt. He was either wrestling Booker or he was wrestling Khali.
I think 06 to 08 WWF was kind of but we got something written down for 08, right?
I got 08, so that's the triple threat where John Cena took on Triple H and Shawn Michaels when they were DX. The cool part about this match was as soon as the bell rang, Shawn super kicked Triple H, laid him out.
Yep.
And he was out of the match for a good long. You forgot it was a triple threat at that point. So,
and that was such a huge build-up with the DX thing. It was like, DX, and then
they were
cut it off.
PG too. They were PG.
It was
DX PG.
Well, WrestleMania was 2008.
I mean, WrestleMania 24.
Was that was Shawn and Cena, right?
I think we had
WrestleMania 28.
24. That was Cena and Shawn.
Yeah, I think you said this is when one of y'all told me this was Undertaker and Edge, correct? 08?
Yes.
So it would have been Undertaker and Edge, and then Cena and no, it was Batista and Undertaker at 24.
I can't remember.
Batista and Undertaker, and then Cena and Michaels.
Edge and him may have been
just when we need the tablet.
Yep. Undertaker and Edge, and Randy Orton and Cena.
Yeah.
At 24? 2008?
Yeah, because WrestleMania 25 anniversary was 2009. I remember that.
23 was Cena and Michaels, and then Taker and Batista. 23 was. That's okay. You're right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I lost count after WrestleMania 9 when Hogan quit being the main event and everything.
I mean, that's probably the best pay-per-views after that.
Reason number 19.
It's easy to keep
number 19.
WrestleMania 6 is still, to me, the best one of the best WrestleManias.
Yep.
The match doesn't hold up, but the atmosphere.
It was cool.
But again, 19.
Was that the Toga
if you
party?
Say, Chad, what's your favorite?
Was 6 to Toga party?
9.
That was the one out in Vegas.
When you ask me what's your favorite year in wrestling of all time, it's 1990 WWF.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Mine's 90 WCW.
There's nothing that SummerSlam 90. Shout out to Earthquake. And shout out to Tugboat. That's Typhoon, but that was Tugboat back in the day.
No, that's the shock.
90
master.
WWF, bro. To me,
Greatness.
it's my favorite. It's just from a nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
The matches were terrible. Like
I just think I'm telling you, if 90 WWF went up against 90 WCW, WCW would run them out of the arena.
from a match, from a wrestling standpoint, but not from an entertaining standpoint. Yes. So it was that was the difference back then, you know.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So go ahead. What we 2011. This one's Cena.
Yeah. So I didn't have anything after 2008 till 2011, and that's when The Rock came back. It was Cena and Rock versus Miz and R-Truth. After the match, of course, Rock hits the rock bottom on Cena, setting up their feud
for Mania and all
that. That was cool. Like, it was a whole year build up for that match, and then it was the rematch where Rock came back, and
that's when you had Triple H and Taker.
Triple H and Taker, yeah.
Was the ref.
Yeah. That was it.
I like those Cena Rock matches.
I did too. They were both pretty good.
They were built up. It was long-term booking.
I wanted to see something like that more than I wanted to see Austin and Hogan.
Yeah.
Like, because at that point, you didn't know what you were getting out of Austin. Hogan, I don't want to see him ever wrestle again. I don't even want to see that man walking. I just want to.
How do you feel about Hulk Hogan?
Just stay home.
Dude, and the promos during that section where Cena calls out The Rock for writing notes on his wrist in those promos.
Great build up.
Dude, it's like, holy shit!
You saw that light switch go off on The Rock where he went from being like entertaining to being pissed. Like,
bro, because he's like, you're not supposed to call me out on that.
Yeah, he's like, I'm The Rock. You're not. And then Cena's like, fuck it, I'm going.
Why? Like, why not? I mean,
bro, people hate on The Rock. I thought Rock is a fucking great worker, bro.
Oh yeah,
they hated him because he wasn't there. That's why they hated him. He wasn't there.
But when he was there, people want to see The Rock still.
Everyone feels like he left way too early.
Recently, and that pop that he got out there, what was it, in California?
It's one of them things where it's like, bro, The Rock wrestled from 97. You can say 96.
He's not
to 2002.
2002, yeah.
He left, and after 2002, he started doing movies. Like, what do you want him to do?
If I'm getting $40 million a movie, I'm not wrestling for $1.5 million a year.
He's not getting those acting roles that The Rock is getting. That's why you saw The Undertaker.
Dude, whoa. Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando.
With your boy. Was it Suburban
Commando? You're a dead man, Ramsey.
Shout out to Mr. Nanny, too. Another solid flick.
But, I mean,
reason 27, I hate Hulk Hogan.
That's why you saw so much of The Undertaker and that as over a long career.
And I get it. It's because as wrestling fans, you're selfish. You don't want The Rock to leave because you like The Rock. Right. So you're like, you're going over there. But it's like if somebody was in his shoes, everybody's going to do that.
I mean, I think we're on the verge of that. Yeah, we're on the verge of that with Roman Reigns also. When he wraps up his wrestling career, I'm assuming he's getting into acting.
And I don't think people are going to be mad that Roman Reigns leaves.
I don't think so either. No.
Okay. And
the only reason to me I give Reigns a pass, and I'm even saying this out loud, was the only reason I really give him a pass for not being there is because the man forfeited the title because he was battling leukemia.
Yeah.
I don't know what his body's going through. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much longer he's got. So if him not defending that belt and being on TV prolongs his life, then by all means, do what you got to do.
But there's nobody. I mean, what are you going to do with the title? You don't want the title to be changed at Survivor Series when you're this close to Mania and you're this close to Rumble and all that stuff.
I want the title to be. I want them to take it off. I want somebody like Otis to win the Money in the Bank and cash it in and win the title. That's what I want. Somebody random, unexpected,
and then he'll lose it the next night.
And then he'll lose it the next night.
See, that could be a thing with the Damian Priest Money in the Bank.
I think Hulk Hogan needs to win it again.
I don't think they're going to let him win it.
You don't think?
I think it's going to be. I think somebody like Finn Balor or somebody like that's going to cost him that title.
No.
I think that's what it is.
It'd just be a wasted Money in the Bank.
I agree. There's not a lot of moments
after
left after this, but we got 2014, obviously, Sting.
That's my favorite Survivor Series moment ever. Dude, the one thing I never thought would ever happen was Sting being in a WWE ring.
Were we at my house watching that one? I think we were watching that. Maybe.
I didn't meet you till like 2015 though. I don't think.
I knew that something was up because they had just given him the video game release.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. First time he was ever in a video game. Right. He had just popped up on the Undertaker. I mean the Ultimate Warrior documentary.
Yeah.
So something was coming, but I just didn't think it was ever going to happen. And I thought it was a really cool way to bring him in.
Yep.
At this point, Vince treated Sting like he would Taker.
Yeah.
He treated him like, I don't need to see you on TV every week. There's a lot of mystery about your character we can play off of. And I think...
And he was older, too.
Right. Everyone talks about his run in WWE like it was wasted. I don't know what you expect. I did expect him to win at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I felt like that was a waste.
WrestleMania match was a waste.
That was a waste.
That was a cluster F.
Yes. And we got him... I would have much rather Flair interfere than... It made the most sense.
And my boy Nash, I think, did tear his quad again going into the ring for that one. Shots at my boy Nash.
He threw a punch towards quad.
And I think Scott was pretty ripped walking down there too.
100%. But I think the match you're talking about, we watched a pay-per-view one time that was Sting and Seth Rollins, right?
Yeah.
What
Night
year
of Champions.
was
Night of Champions.
Okay,
that was
2015?
2016 maybe.
Okay.
That
that's
makes
right.
sense.
Yep.
Is that when Sting got hurt?
Got hurt, yeah.
Yeah, the buckle bomb.
And that's the
what we
thing.
watched.
And I've talked about that also. For me, it made more sense. Like the idea of Sting winning the WWE title was great.
Yeah.
But to literally have Sting beat Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins is at his peak didn't make sense. Now, you could have done it to where you had the chance to have Cena win his 17th by having Sting take the U.S. title off of him. And because he was voted the greatest U.S. champion of all time.
Yeah.
Have him win the U.S. title and then have Cena come in right after that, after he's been beat. And then you've got the pop factor of like, oh, he could actually lose both belts tonight. Mm-hmm. But when Cena beat him for the U.S. title, I knew he wasn't losing the world title. That wasn't going to happen.
And I hate that we missed out on a Sting, even though they were both older at this point, a Sting-Undertaker match.
When I saw the AJ Styles and Taker match at WrestleMania, the cinematic match, I said, there's your money right there. Taker and Sting in that atmosphere. They missed. They dropped the ball on that. They dropped the ball.
Hated that match.
Yeah, especially for AJ Styles when he's one of the most athletic guys in the company.
Yeah,
just do a horror movie, bro. Don't do a match and try to make it a horror movie.
Yeah,
that's what y'all did.
But for Sting and Taker with their capabilities,
it would have been great.
It would have been a better suit.
Because Sting did something like that with Darby. Actually, his first match in AEW, he did that. It was a cinematic type match.
And see, I wasn't a fan of that Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt cinematic.
No.
Like that.
No.
Those guys can work on their own. Just let them have a match.
I'll never understand why Sting spent all that time in TNA instead of. I don't know how they never figured out a deal.
Because of the reason why everyone says his run was wasted in WWE. He didn't trust how they were going to use his character.
Yeah.
At this
point,
he
just finally gave in to it and then went over there.
It was on the list. It was on the list.
And get in that WWE Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I think honestly, I felt like when he did his speech, I think he was done. I think he wanted to be done, but I mean,
and then is he still wrestling?
I think March is his last. March 9th is his last match. So
I think he's my mom and dad's age. But they 65.
They brought Flair in for that whole thing, man. I don't want to see Flair involved in it.
I don't want
to see
Ric
Flair.
Flair, you're my favorite wrestler.
I don't want to see Flair fall
getting
over
in the ring
and
fighting people.
Yeah,
just stop, dude.
Do podcasts. You're fucking amazing.
Yes, you've got stories for days, dude.
Him
Hang
and
it
Theo
up.
Von's podcast episode is classic.
Yes.
He laughed for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was but please stop getting in the ring.
Yeah.
Please
You're
stop
done,
getting
dude.
in the ring.
Yeah, Sting will be 65 in March, so
That's what I figured.
he's
I almost
officially
I looked it up. He's like my
retirement
same exact
age.
age as my mom and dad.
Jeez.
And then the following year at 2015 Survivor Series, there was some kind of tournament for Rollins.
Rollins vacated the title. Reigns defeats Ambrose for the belt. Sheamus cashes in.
Oh, I remember that, and everybody booed the.
Which that's the only cash in ever
Sheamus.
Survivor Series was Sheamus's.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's a mid card guy.
Yeah,
now.
he's in and out. He lives here in Nashville, though.
Yeah, mid card guy.
Sheamus.
Super nice if you ever see him.
Yeah, if you ever see you ran into him at
twice
at the haunted house one time.
Yep.
Super
and
cool.
At Mission Barbecue.
I rang him
out at Opryland.
I rang him out at Best Buy when I worked at the Nashville Best Buy.
Yeah, he's cool. Super cool.
really
Down
nice.
to earth.
I think Drew McIntyre lives here in town as well.
Yeah.
Does he?
I think him, Rusev
still lives here.
and Sheamus all live
I wouldn't mind running in
in
the
the
line.
same neighborhood.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
that's a good one.
Hell yeah, dude.
So 2018, Enzo Amore hijacks the crowd.
I remember that. Yes.
He'd already been released at that point. He wasn't even under contract, but he hijacks the crowd. So
Yep.
I mean, and now, who is now a real one, and now he's rapping.
Yeah.
he rapped in though.
Yeah.
Well, he's releasing music. now.
He was a wasted talent, dude.
Yeah,
he
he really
wasted so much opportunity. They were the highest selling merch. They were over more than anybody. The guys could cut promos.
What happened with them two? Like, what made him? He got in trouble.
Yeah.
He got cocky. He just got arrogant. He felt like he was untouchable, and he made a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
And then
And
he
he got,
left, and then he was the mouthpiece. And then what happened to the other guy?
He's
in
like,
AEW.
Yeah, he's in AEW.
He had some substance abuse issues, I
Yeah.
think, and he's over that now. He looks like he's in
He's
great
a tag
shape.
team champion.
He
With
kind
Ricky
of reminded me
Stark
of
now.
Test.
Yes,
RIP.
exactly.
Yeah,
He kind of was like a test.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he's a beast now. He's doing great in AEW, and so
Yep.
2020 we get Taker's retirement ceremony officially.
Yeah, that.
And then was it on Raw that Flair? No, that was for Flair's retirement. Never mind, I'm mistaken.
His 11th retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one he
Totally
should have never
wrong on
messed
that
up and went back. And then I got the War Games for 2022. It was the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes. That was Sheamus and them.
Oh.
And this was used to test Sammy's loyalty with Kevin Owens. This was when, to me, the Bloodline storyline was at its peak.
Yeah.
But again, the way it just kind of went away after. Like now they don't do anything with it.
No,
I think Randy Orton may have something to do with it now that he's back.
Yeah, he said he was getting revenge on the Bloodline.
But after Jimmy turned on Jay and Jay's now on Raw, it's like, okay, all that for nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of it. Nobody got better. Nobody was elevated.
Just drop it.
Drop it. Nothing.
Yep.
Drop it.
Nothing. So
I'm excited for you to read this last little excerpt because after you read the formatting part.
So 2017 format went back to brand versus brand with champion versus champion matches, but they were non-title, and they still do that. So I thought that was a pretty cool concept. Do champion versus champion, non-title match. So the cool thing about Survivor Series was there was some pretty iconic debuts. You had
wait, you said iconic debuts.
Iconic
debuts.
Go ahead.
Keep going.
The Shield.
Absolutely iconic.
Yeah.
Scott Steiner.
Okay.
Icon. Now, when the Shield came out, was that was in for CM Punk's? That was in CM Punk's favor, correct?
Yeah, okay. I believe yes, because they kept saying, because it had something to do with them questioning CM Punk's something. It had something to do along those lines. And he goes, I didn't hire these guys; they just showed up.
That's when they put Ryback through the table and everything.
Yep.
That was 2014, right? Yep. That was when Punk and Heyman was doing that whole run.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we got the Shield, we got Scott Steiner, The Rock, of course, debuted at Survivor Series.
Okay, what's that?
Hang on, we're not there yet. We got Angle, Kurt Angle, of course, debuted. Taker, the most iconic debut was Taker. Jazz,
iconic.
Jazz,
but it did say some.
No,
it did say some. Iconic,
but some pretty iconic debuts. And then right after iconic debuts, he listed Jazz.
Whoa! Flash Funk.
Hey, Flash Funk, iconic,
and Isaac Yankem.
Yep. DDS.
Isaac Yankem debuted at the Survivor Series.
That's who Britt Baker took her whole gimmick from.
Yeah,
Isaac Yankem.
She did bite Isaac Yankem. Yeah, she did.
But except she's a real dentist.
Yeah,
she is. But yeah, I mean, some pretty cool debuts, Survivor Series.
Flash Funk for sure.
Funk.
Jazz was big for the women's division.
When?
She had a nice run.
But I'm saying when? No.
What was that? Late 90s?
It was not 90. It wasn't the Attitude Era.
Was she in ECW? She was in ECW.
That's what I'm saying. Jazz was not iconic. Nobody knows when she wrestled. I remember she got her ass whipped a few times in the early 2000s, maybe.
Oh, Lord.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, we got to
find out the career of Jazz, guys.
I don't know much of it at all because it couldn't.
It's going to be hard to find because
2001.
Early 2000s, yeah. She was getting whooped. She was somebody's manager, I think. Who was she managing? She was balleting for somebody. I could have swore.
She was from ECW.
Yep. Yeah, because I thought I used to play with her on the ECW game. I think she was on the ECW.
You picked Jazz.
You picked her?
Yeah. She's iconic.
She is iconic.
I mean, now that I read this, she didn't do much.
She didn't at all.
She was a 2-time women's champion.
And NWA women's
champion. And WWE.
Oh. She held the NWA women's title for 900 days.
900 days.
That's a lot.
That was probably with TNA.
Iconic. The word is iconic, guys.
Yep.
She's in the same paragraph as Scott Steiner, The Rock, The Shield, Undertaker,
Flash Funk.
Flash Funk.
Lord,
oh man,
Jazz.
That's a good way to end it, though.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to.
She's in the Women's Hall of Fame, Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame, also.
Okay,
good for
you. Don't have to keep pitching. You played with her as a character. You're a fan.
That's it. That's it. That makes her icon.
Shout out Jazz.
She's an icon.
Iconic.
Even Chance's daughter is confused by Chance's statements.
Oh man.
This has been Survivor Series, man.
Fun episode.
Yeah. It was, man. It was glad to get BJ back in the swing of things.
Yeah,
he'll be on next week as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to hit y'all with a 2-piece of some wrestling content. We've got wrestling factions coming up.
Yep.
Nice.
And that will be episode 40.
40
episodes.
Wow. Holy.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. That's
because the one that this will be 39.
Hey, I've been a part of like 10
40s
of these,
after
guys.
39. I think
This is awesome.
This is holy cow.
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Like 10 of them.
More than that.
Yeah, I think you're probably like in the 15 range. 10.
Oh, no. I don't think I've been that many.
Because you came in on
5, I think. 5 or 6.
5. I wouldn't say.
We'll go back and look.
I've got all the episodes on my YouTube channel, so like to cross reference how to find the pod.
Maybe it is more. Okay.
I think it's only like 10. I think this.
Okay.
I'm going over on it.
Over.
I'm going.
Jazz
over.
is an icon, guys. Take this away from and the Montreal screw job was a work.
It's a work.
Or was it?
Way to play the heel.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, man. Y'all be sure to hit the subscribe button, man, and check out the sponsors. You got Trouble Spirits. We're gonna be getting him on some episodes soon. Shout out to Ryan.
Yep,
he's back in Nashville.
Awesome.
And shout out to Nixon Pro Media. Shout out to Revolution One Media. And the Natural Disasters, baby.
We out this motherfucker.